Well, with just 6 days until the election, some people are worried Colorado's going to be this year's Florida, taking election screw-ups to a whole new level.
Fox 31's Leland Vittert looked into that real possibility for tonight's Fox Files. And Leland, election problems here could have a big impact nationally this year, right?
Well, that's right, Deb. We've spent much of the past 2 weeks reporting on voting problems, everything from missing ballots in Denver to lawsuits, even congressmen complaining we aren't ready. It was bad back in 2006 when we had problems with the vote centers, but imagine the problems if the presidential race came down to Colorado. It's a possible scenario, leaving some to wonder if we really could be this year's Florida. Election night 2000, the state that decided the leader of the free world seemed unable to get it right.
I don't understand it!
As everyone held their collective breath to see which Chads were actually hanging,
we now need to resolve this election.
Both candidates declared victory.
Secretary Cheney and I have carried the state of Florida.
And this became an iconic picture.
I think there was some confusion.
A perfect storm descended over Florida. The hanging Chad meant voting problems. A close presidential vote brought worldwide scrutiny, and the electoral map broke just so, meaning how went Florida, how went the election. Now in 2008, some worry that same storm is brewing over Colorado.
That we don't have, any recurrence of what happened in Florida 8 years ago in Colorado.
This month, 18,000 mail-in ballots somehow got lost between the printer and Denver voters.
The city appears a little disorganized.
Even as the clerk's office claimed they were caught up.
As of today, we are caught up sending out mail-in ballots.
And that's far from the only problem.
We have overwhelming number of newly registered voters. Other people want to participate in it, and we've got to prepare for that.
Congressman Ed Perlmutter sounded the alarm about Arapahoe County, where he's worried the county doesn't have a good enough backup plan in case the machines crash.
They are keeping paper ballots in a central location.
And that's if everybody registered gets to vote. In 2006, problems with poll books showing who's registered brought voting to a halt in Douglas County.
We also know there were some malfunctions in at least 2 counties last time where people were in line for hours and some were so frustrated they turned away.
Now the Secretary of State faces a lawsuit over canceling thousands of voters from the rolls, and we've heard of reports of an electronic voting machine pulled from service in Adams County because it showed an electronic preference for one candidate.
But you do have to put some faith in the fact that your vote's going to be counted.
As Dan Haley of the Denver Post explains, it's never perfect, but it often comes down to who's watching and why.
We've always had flaws in our voter system, but close elections sort of put a spotlight on those flaws and get people nervous about whether or not their vote actually counts.
In 2006, long lines and computer problems frustrated voters, but in a non-presidential year where the races weren't all that close, the world didn't notice our problems. But now political analysts say Colorado could be the last undecided state in a sea of red and blue.
Sort of every county clerk's worst nightmare is having the national media outside your door on Wednesday morning.
Just look at the number of campaign visits. McCain, Obama, Biden, and Palin seem to have second homes here. And if the 100,000 that showed up for Senator Obama's rally in Civic Center Park is any indication, massive turnout could be an understatement. So now, if it comes down to Colorado, can we fix the problems of 2007, where a computer crash prevented Denver from reporting its results? Will the lines of 2006 be gone? And with 6 days to go, what other problems could have the world's magnifying glass peering on Colorado?
If there are hitches and we could have been prepared for them and people are turned away, that's just wrong.
Now for a very small amount of good news. The vote centers are gone, and the Secretary of State's office says they are confident everything will go smoothly next Tuesday. Then again, that's what people said back in 2006, and of course, that's what Florida thought back in 2000. Deb?
We'll just cross our fingers and hope.
Best thing you can do.
Live tonight in the Election Center.